But with my evolution, I realized that knowledge and wisdom is one. There is no compartment. When you rise in your understanding, you realize that there is no difference between science, spirituality, all are same. It requires a bit of ascent, and I'm sure with time we all will realize. Now the base topic to connect spirituality is happiness to my mind. The reason is everybody wants happiness. There is no one who doesn't want happiness. But the concept of happiness is different for each and every person. And everybody wants happiness, but at the end of life, if you ask, have you achieved happiness? Most of us say that something happened, we lost the way. And I want to correct this in the next 25-30 minutes. These concepts I will try to evolve for you. First of all, please understand that we are in charge of our happiness and not anybody else. We always blame people and circumstances that because of this or this person or this circumstances I was unhappy. It is not so. First, take charge of yourself and realize that happiness is our own fundamental right, and it is in our hands whether to remain happy or not in whatever discordance we live. Aristotle in those days mentioned happiness is the meaning and purpose of life, the whole aim and the end of human existence. He was so right. According to him, there are 4 determinants: good health, good relationships, good virtues, and optimum money. This is what he wrote. In those days, the Indian spiritual texts had gone much further than that, and we are talking about religion, philosophy, spiritual practice, and all that. We'll see if the time permits. Friends, I did a study about 22 years back across the continent, asking my mentors and friends what is happiness to them. There were different opinions. 85% people wrote something about their physical attainments. They thought that sensual pleasures were the reasons how we can become happy. So they remain on physical. There are people, about 10 to 12%, who thought that achievement, successes, money, awards, all these can be part, something like joy and satisfaction. That brings happiness. By only 2% people like Swamiji wrote back, Sudhir, the real happiness lies in blissful state. And that was the kind of metamorphosis that started happening in me. And I started studying neuroscience, how the so-called same looking words, pleasure, joy, bliss are different. They are not really similar things. There are different biological things inside of it. So what is pleasure? When we seek happiness from outside the world, it's sensual, instinctual, physiological. It's like an animal instinct. How? Because those people who derive their happiness from food, living places, listening to music, like fragrance and sexual pleasure, these are people who value physical world. And when I studied them into fMRI, these kinds of USA and UK, we found that the specific areas of the brain were enlightened. There was increased metabolic activity in the specific visual, auditory areas related to that particular sense. And this lasted very short. And it disappeared. And the chemicals that were responsible were dopamine, serotonin, and noradrenaline. Now, dopamine, as you know, is the pleasure principle, reward principle. If you are flattered, you will be rewarded, you feel good, and that is a reward molecule. That is dopamine secretion. As you can see, the blue area is the brain. And on the other side, the serotonin is the memory molecule, mood molecule. These two combined produce kind of pleasure inside the brain. The problem with these two chemicals is that when you get pleasure today and tomorrow, if not get the same substance. Like today you are going to a good joint to eat, and tomorrow you get the same desire and you don't get the craving happens. And dopamine is the biggest culprit. And serotonin is a link to that memory, so that craving produces more pain. So little pleasure against that more and more desire. That is what our classical Asian spiritual texts say. And therefore this is not the place where humans should stay long. Everybody wants some kind of pleasure. I don't say I also enjoy food and I go out and enjoy beautiful places also, but this is not the real happiness. So then next level is joy, santosh, or getting psychological kind of feeling. Here there is some internal input and your external input also. Like to service to mankind, success, creativity, achievements, awards, social interactions, and some simple basic spiritual practices, you get kind of joy, a kind of satisfaction. That is quite human feeling. That was animal feeling, that was physiological, very short lasting. There is psychological, lasts little longer. It can give kind of long lasting satisfaction, but it also depends on the external. Today you have awards and today you have money, tomorrow you may not have. So people would blame for having lost all what you have. So this is also not permanent. So like achievement, success, giving lectures, talks, music concerts. When I play music, it is joy for me. When you hear music, it is pleasure for me. So that is the difference. And when we studied them in fMRI, we found different set of brain areas. We got increased blood supply and metabolism. And this is to last much longer, maybe for a few hours to few days also. And the chemicals here, apart from dopamine and serotonin, which are required here also, but additionally you have oxytocin, vasopressin, and prolactin. But whatever teaching we have received from great sages and avatars and recent sages like Ramakrishna Mission, Mahindra Group, etc., the real state of happiness, which is long lasting, which is completely self-dependent. There is no external input. And it is not affected by external circumstances. Okay? And that is called spiritual happiness, bliss. It's a kind of permanent meditative state and it is a fully awake state. Here, consciousness becomes identified with universal consciousness. When I'm talking to you, you should realize that I'm a neurologist, neuroscientist, I have worked with international groups, and when I say the line, our consciousness becomes identified with universal consciousness, I have some proofs. And time permits to derive the education also. Then mindfulness practice and similar things can produce this kind of fMRI thing, a very subtle area in the brain, 1 to 8 centimeter, and the permanent feeling of bliss comes from such area. And that is the meditative practices or other spiritual practices that can be partners long lasting. Here there are no dopamine, no serotonin. Here is all endorphin, GABA, endocannabinoid, and encephalins. So these are different sets of hormones and neurotransmitters. The beauty here is this kind of happiness is always coupled with peace. So the another way how you can judge whether you are really in happy state or not, if you are happy with peace, feeling of peace, then only you may judge this is the real blissful, real happiness or deep happiness. So self-dependent, no external input, we don't bother for what others say, speak or do to us, and a state which is always accompanied by deep feeling of peace and parasympathetic state, that is our pulse, our blood pressure, our respiration, they all slow down. Sympathetic is what? Faster, fight or flight mode, running, and kind of always in a state of high pulse, high blood pressure, all those cardiac states. Here, it's all yogic states, so that is the state of bliss. So only 2 or 1% of people in the world really enjoy this kind of feeling of bliss. Unfortunately, we are all across with Maya. And in that Maya, the other Maya that has come in the virtual world, you know. And then now the third thing that has come is artificial intelligence. And we as neurologists are really stuck and we don't know how to really solve the question. We talk sometime later whether it's a friend or foe and how best we can use it for humanity. But right now there are certain problems. So we have to use our time maximum for ourselves, not living in virtual world. That's the message that I want to give. Friends, our happiness is determined by 20% times by genetics, 10% is circumstances that what decide our happiness, and 20% of our happiness comes from money, health, etc. And 50% of our happiness is based on our attitude, behavior, spirituality, relation management, etc. The good news that those genetics, or our genetic makeup, there are certain races in the world, and even in Gujarat we have, I think, Ramakrishna, some of the Parsis, they are genetically wired that they live long, they live happy in all circumstances. If at all we are not coming from that kind of genetic setup, then epigenetics has come as a rescue. If we do mindfulness, meditation, or improve altruistic actions, then we can change our DNA code. We can unlock our gene code, and expression can be changed with the positive thoughts and emotions and visual patterns. So it's not necessary to have the genes that way, but we can certainly make our expression of the genes different with these epigenetic principles. Then comes the point of money. Money, yes, can produce short-term benefits, but more money will not bring value. The graph shows that with increase of per capita income, as shown in the upper graph, with the rise in per capita income, the real percentage of happiness does not increase. In fact, it decreases after some stage. So, what happens? Money can bring security as well as comfort and pleasure, but more money corrupts. Success corrupts. We need to manage. So that is another point. So I'm just giving you points because I said genetics, money, circumstances, and all this have impact on our happiness. And here, this was regarding money. When applause dies away, trophies gather dust, and winners are forgotten. What is important for us is that who helped us in our life. That is important. And sometimes somebody comes like Kavista and touching your life, changes your thinking, or when you are in a bad shape, that time your mentor, your friend, your parents, they change, they help you, and this is what we should do to others. Our trophies and our accolades, they give claps for a minute or two, but if we really help people, that is long time. At some point in life, we come across those. One road takes to more success, so-called success, pleasure, money, fame, award. The other road takes us to spirituality, God would be. So we have to decide whether we can balance, or at some stage one has to start walking on the other side. So friends, from all these, what I want to tell you is that what should we do to really get happiness in our life? This was the theory part, not the practical aspect. So there are 5 activities of health, 5 relations, hobbies, medical interventions, philosophical laws, virtues, etc. If I go into details, I think it will take 1.5 hours or more. So I just touch upon some of the points, just some scientific reasons. So medical management, yes, we as doctors or neurologists working on this, and if happiness is a biological cause, as I mentioned, three different routes, then we can influence our brain and mind with the help of drugs, surgery, etc. Those who are suffering from pathological anxiety, depression, psychosis, they are real sufferers. They must be taken to good psychiatrists, they should be treated, the mood elevators, counseling, and all that. Do you know that 70 to 80% of people coming to doctors have either psychosomatic disorders or lifestyle disorders? And they all can be improved if the happiness level improves. So 70-80% these are wrong self-defect. And this is the least for you to check. So friends, one should be very careful. If you don't remain happy, you will fall prey to several diseases. Doctors are working on deep brain stimulation techniques and supplying chemicals or nasal spray to improve your happiness. And these are different sprays that are available. But they have certain dangers, so I don't recommend you. It is more of a commercial gimmick at the moment. And as I mentioned, there are certain genes which are responsible for our happiness, and DRD2, women, through FPTL, etc. genes we have mapped in the brain that can really make you happy and long-lasting happiness feeling. And tomorrow, if the day will come, then with the help of robotics, genetic engineering will be able to insert the required in everybody's brain and body, blood, and that will make us happier. I don't know when the day will come, but the way science is going, you must have heard about the Elon Musk and chips and neurostimulation techniques and genetic engineering, explosive scientific output. You can't imagine what is going to happen. If you manage to live next 20 years, I'm sure you won't guys are going to live, then you will become almost physically immortal. That is what I have been told by my mentors. Anyway, so then the next practical point is relationship. See, most of the times we get annoyed or disturbed because we are not able to manage our relationships. So, married life is one thing, children, in-laws and parents, friends and professional or workplace people. We should be very careful in our selection of words and behavior to these people. Love people, they deserve love. If you spend your life in judging people, then when will you love them? So love, okay? Life is too short to judge people and criticize. Rather than try to love. And when you love them, neuroscience gives immediate response. The rostral midbrain area, there is a point where there is increased activity that in turn produces parasympathetic output. You remember I mentioned parasympathetic yogic mode, slow pulse, slow blood pressure, slow respiration, peace. So love, appreciation, and compassion, they have the same connotation in the brain. So that is what spirituality, how you are correlating, this is so beautifully mentioned in neurological text. Then married life, according to some, it is oxymoron, which is, I don't know whether it is so, but this definition is certainly very interesting. Marriage is the way through which two people join together to solve the problems in your life. So it is a very unique system. And even I had problems after my marriage for 10 years. I failed to understand what this Mahindra Mission is in front of me, and I can't understand. So then I stopped trying to understand and asked her. Google could not answer everything, so I asked her, what do you want? Tell me. How can I make you happy and how can you make me happy? But I said, see, look, after a long time, she once said for me, see, women need to be understood, they should be loved and cared for, they should be validated, they should be accepted, and they need freedom. If you do this for me, I will give you the whole world. And I did. And she did that. In everything that I wanted. And then she asked me, what do you want? And what I must have said. So that is the beauty of marriage relationship. Just for fun, I got it. But friends, of course, it's a God sent entity, and friends are wonderful people in your life. I don't think I have to emphasize that. Then each of us will have some kind of hobby. To make our life healthier, these are the ways which I said after health, relationships, hobbies, very important. I don't have to narrate much, you know that. There are 5 virtues. Remember Aristotle had said about 5 good virtues? So these are the virtues, some modification from what he said. Gratitude, appreciation, forgiveness, kindness and acceptance. Reflect on this at your leisure time and you will realize how profound they are. And it's not difficult. You know, daily if we pay gratitude to 5 people in our life, our driver, our fuel, our friend, whoever this will help you. Just say, be thankful from the heart and appreciate each and every person. It's very simple. It's not difficult. It doesn't take time or anything. It's a matter of attitude. And forgive people for what, because you are not going to change the world. You yourself will be. If you want to be happy, then useless people should be removed from the list and forgive those who are not important. And kindness and compassion. I have shown you what happens in the brain will give you compassion and acceptance. Friends, we move on to the last part of the talk, and that is happiness is a state of mind. It's something, it's not something that happens that money or power can command. It's only by controlling your inner experiences that we can become happy. So we have to control 5 mental processes. Now this is a little deeper thing you need to understand. Our wrong attachments, our wrong thoughts, desires, emotions, and attitudes, these are the root causes. We blame people and circumstances for our unhappiness. But actually, it is we who expect much from people, or it is we who think that our desires are different and things happen to us in a different way. So try to analyze what is behind it, what is behind it, what is behind it. And you realize that this 5 enemies would be behind that. So remove attachment, unnecessary clinging to something. Our thoughts are most important enemies. And you know what we are what we think. All that we are alive with our thoughts. My whole body and my whole projection is my thought, nothing else. My world is different, your world is different, your world is different, because we have different set of thoughts. Okay? And your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own thoughts. When we tried to study thoughts in the spectrum, you know, before 1995, I was also thinking that thoughts are all abstract and whatever, if I have some thought, how does it matter to me or you or to the world, you know? Each and every single thought that we perceive in our brain has a profound impression in the brain. My thought of compassion comes from a different area, from violence in a different area, my ego from different parts. So all these things have different connections, there are different neurotransmitters, different trajectories, different pathways, and you think about only anger. If one thought of anger, what happens? My whole body starts trembling, the eyes becomes wide, pulse goes faster, I'm on a sympathetic drive, BP is rising, my respiration, how I see, and my immunity is affected. So everything goes haywire. So don't think that thoughts are abstract. Okay? Science has proved, and be careful. Guard your thoughts. Guard your words and guard your actions. Okay? And that is why our sages and our avatars have mentioned that be careful. Lord Mahavir used to say to his principal disciple, Sabar Agi Golma Mapamai. Don't be unawake, don't be without alertness for a fraction of second. Be on guard for every single thought, word, and action. And so is with Gita and all other Vedic scriptures mention the same thing. And then the attitude. So be careful about attitude. So this is the formula of so far we talked about stop comparing, expecting, etc. And now we talk about the last diamond, that is ethics and spirituality. Friends, do you know that those who have spiritual commitments, they have a very high level of ethics. This has been studied widely from the Western world, particularly Harvard and other universities, and commitment to whatever kind of supreme power you believe. And the 5 spiritual practices are very important. One is spiritual reading, daily spiritual reading, then satsang, chanting or devotion or kirtan. These all have been studied. In the neuroscience lenses. A lot of research have been done and many are still going on. We are a part of some of the studies also. The yogic part, karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, etc., finance and meditation. So, prayer can also have profound effect on your brain. You see, this is the limbic brain. Here in the limbic area, there is lymph circulation. The red part is circulation. This is before prayer and this is after. The prayer is not what you are doing business in God, you should give real and no, that is not prayer. Survey Sukhina Santu, Survey Santu, Rama, Survey Dhanani Pashyantu, Makashyantu, Bhagavad. That is prayer. Everyone should be happy, everyone should be free of disease, everyone should be elevated. That is what it will do. And don't ask anything for you. Okay? And doing this kind of prayer, you get increased activity in the immune system, that in turn produces great amount of release of parasitic hormones and yogi. This is the yogi was talking about in my study. In studying hospital for 15 days and nights under CCTV camera, of course with the help of DIPAS, Defense Institute of Physiology and Life Sciences. It is this place where I met Professor Abdul Kalam thrice and twice at some other place, and we designed the whole study. I had done the study from my side in 2003, but he insisted to repeat that study. And this yogi, yogi says you don't come forward for this kind of massive testing. But he allowed us to take a lot of time, blood, so many MRIs. Think of the test he allowed us to do, except for any invasive thing inside his body, no endoscopy. And he was all the way even in meditation. I think daily 40 hours of meditation and some kind of chanting after meditation he was doing. I studied him, and this fellow was without any food, not a morsel of food, not a droplet of liquid, any kind of water. And he asked me, we have documented all this. On this, as he mentioned, there are 3 documentary films across the world, and with that I got connected to NASA and other Indian institutes. We are doing ongoing study how we can decrease the weight of the rocket so that, like those astronauts who are going to the space and long-term travel, if they reduce their calories to, let's say, 800 calories from 2500 calories, the weight of the rocket will be reduced, so the speed will be faster. So according to Professor Kalam, it was possible that we can reach to moon in 45 days instead of 90 days. So that is this is the working on, and we have reached a substantial level there. And so this is the meditation, this is the last part of my talk. Please do me a little favor, search your own self within yourself. Yogi was a great Sufi poet, he used to say. So So friends, if I have to give only one message today, apart from whatever people you have heard in this day today, I think all of you should start doing meditation now. I tell you, management of relations, management of health, and cultivating those virtues and appreciating and expressing gratitude are very important to go down. So also the mental things which are related to important. But one thing which can transform you totally is meditation. I'm sure some of you have a lot to say on that. And friends, these are the meditation techniques which I say. But this is the last slide, two slides I want to show before I end. And that is, when you do meditation, what happens? This is the prefrontal area of the brain, and this is the scan before meditation, and this is the scan after meditation. This was Buddhist Lama who underwent this SPECT scan fMRI before and after meditation. And you can see that this red part shows 30% increase of blood circulation in the prefrontal area. What is the connotation of this? Prefrontal area is what our higher brain, our intelligence, cognition, the executive function, thoughts, communication, everything is here. We consider human race higher than any other animal because of what we control. And during meditation, that group gets extensive supply of blood, oxygen, and lot of other nutrients. So friends, meditators have high cognition. They don't have to go to different colleges and schools. They just download the knowledge from above. And that I've seen myself in serving yogis also. And second connotation is, during meditation, the left side brain, diagonal associated area, gets sudden reduction of blood supply. And this is the area from where our emotions, ego, attitude, orientation to time comes. And fortunately, meditators have different attitude. Their ego is gone, and they are always in a pleasant positive state. So friends, my closing message is meditate and do all small things. Not difficult, and make yourself happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor, for wonderful insights about meditation, about the beautiful spirit. Yes. From profound neuroscience to somebody who is in the world that you are about to step in about a month from now. So, yes.
And good afternoon, can you hear me?
Yes.
So, Dr. Shah, it's such a huge responsibility to take the stage after your wonderful session, and I'm not surprised, Dr. Shah, you start every mentoring session with meditation. So I know where you practice that. Okay. So I thought when I understood the contours of the program, it made me reflect on what's been happening in my life. So I thought, let me just compare what Heal says with what has been happening all these years. So quick background, I think Professor Vishal already explained. I've been looking after various brands and teaching and things like that. That's my roller coaster journey. But let me stop here in terms of, so as I mentioned, I've been 24 years doing different, should I put this back here? Just to give you a feel, sorry. So I got it a roller coaster ride because it's been many geographies, many kind of exposures and different functions, different areas. But today when I stand here, 26 years after all this is the question that comes to my mind, particularly after going through the contours of the program. What's the rat race all about? What have I done in the last 36 years? Why? And now after listening to Dr. Shah, I did get some answers today. Thank you very much. This is one thought that has been bothering me for quite some time. I'm sure you would have heard this quote earlier. Man sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices the money to recuperate the health. And then he's so conscious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. And the result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die. And then he dies having never lived. Right? I don't know how many of you have felt this way, but my story, what I show you in the subsequent slides, is all about what you need here. I definitely feel I don't subscribe to this view at all. Right? The Chinese model of nation building, where we hear shocking statements like work-life balance is not required, can we work on weekends and things like that. And I was quite happy to see the rebuttals from people like Mr. Mahindra and Rajeev Malik. I'm sure you include into that. But I definitely feel this is not what I had bargained for. But that is what life offered to us. I'm sure, I would request you to please try to figure out how to not let this happen to you, but it's not going to be easy as you move to the next stage. Many of you might have worked in organizations before coming here, so you have a feel of what I'm talking about. So as a young executive, in 1993, when I left for the Middle East to be the marketing person for Toyota, this is what I looked like, right? Full of expectations, enthusiasm, young, fine, lanky. And 12 years later, when I returned, I had massive gains, I would say. You know, this is what happened to me. So this is my story. And look at this picture. Just reached Muscat, and that's the birth of my daughter. And 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 365 days a year for 12 years. 365 days, yes. For a very simple reason. I was with a company called South Bhavan. It's one of the largest distributors of Toyota. And the owner asked a very simple question to the marketing director. He said, what do you guys do on Friday? Friday is a holiday in the Middle East, as you would be aware. Right? So he said, well, we play cricket. Indians play cricket on Friday. And he said, what does Toyota do on Friday? He said, well, Toyota works. And what does Toyota do on Saturday, Sunday? They don't know. Which means the biggest franchise that they are building, they are not engaging with them for 3 days in a week. Is cricket more important to you than what? Can't you guys just come on Friday and be there for a few hours? Will it not help the business? And then started the journey of the 7th day of the week, coming to office for just 3-4 hours. You know, to handle that time there used to be faxes, there were no emails in the mobile phone wasn't around. Just to handle the faxes while we be there. And what does those 4 hours do to you? It just completely finishes the day. So a lot of things started going back, and at one stage I just decided it was enough, and I came back and I went for gastrectomy, a bariatric surgery, to rapidly lose weight. Yeah, I mean I could see some of these things in your slides. So I went for this surgery and I lost about 45-50 kilos of weight. Some of it, of course, I have put back, as you can see. This was the first step. This is the day when I was leaving for the surgery. And the idea was I had started banging cars on the road because I was dozing out because of a problem called sleep apnea. I don't know whether you are familiar with that. So I had to do this corrective surgery. And this was only a part of the job. But before that, have a look at the transformation that happened during this period. It was the same Mahindra annual conference a year later. Can you spot me in both the pictures? Yeah. So this is the forced medical transformation I tried to make on myself. But this was not the full story. My knees had given away. So I had to go for a total knee replacement surgery also. I'm just trying to figure out if you slog for 12 years without respite, lead an imbalanced life, get pressurized by the corporate pressures which are on the way, this can happen to you. It did happen to me, but I think Dr. Shah, when you spoke about communities which genetically know how to live happy, I think Punjabis are about that. So I somehow still survived. So let me talk about the work-life balance, which is one of the most important problems that we face today. Or should we call it the imbalance? I don't know. So in Mahindra, we used to do something called an employee as a promoter survey, where you create an action plan for how to keep employees happy. And as managers, we would be told, can you figure out ways of keeping your employees happy because they are giving negative ratings to you. And then, on a Friday evening, they would send you a mail saying Monday morning there is a meeting. What am I supposed to do as a manager? Give work-life balance to people? Or ask them to get on to the calls? Start giving me the slides for the Monday review? Because the shark has to be fed on Monday. That's the issue. The words spoken and the actions. The early morning flights. Let's keep our day very efficient. Wake up early. The tickets are cheaper in the morning. And I'm talking about big brands here. The day-long trips. Why don't you just return today? We have meetings tomorrow. The perpetual con calls, the VCs, we are about to cut the cake and the boss wants you on a call. Right? And then again, at the end of the year, there is an employee as a promoter survey to measure what you did right and wrong in the year. I don't know how to sort this out. And then, of course, when I heard about mindfulness, which is the bedrock of the program Heal, I was fascinated to look at what it stands for. I love every word that you see in this word cloud or word tree, if you will. And of course, we went through a course on mindfulness and reflective conversations in Mahindra also, and was introduced to this and greatly benefited from it. Because the most important thing is, can we be here and now? Are all of us here right now? Are all of us fully present here? Or are we living in the wake of the past? Or are we worried about what future holds for us? Yeah? I mean, my business icon, I'm sure many of you would know who he is. Dr. Goenka? Yeah, so he was the managing director and of Mahindra Automotive. And my mentor, from my heart, I used to really like working with him. And he would come for meetings and he would not carry his phones. So something like that, I saw him practicing meaningfulness. Reflective conversation. I think I'm running out of time, so I'll move forward with this. Which one? Can I? We have time for that? Okay. So the example I wanted to give was, I sent him a 90 slide presentation and he gave me 20 minutes of time to give me approvals. And I told him it's impossible for me to present those 90 slides to you. And he came to the room without a laptop, without a phone, without anything. He was right there, fully present. And he said, okay, go to slide number 4, 16, 24 and 72. He had already gone through my presentation. His questions were ready. I went through those 4 slides. He gave me approval. And while we were doing this, he got a call. And his assistant came inside with the phone. And he said, no, this time belongs to Rajeev. I can't be taking this call. He said, sir, it's the chief minister of the bank. And he said, okay, sorry, I need to take this call. So he spoke to Dr. Thackeray for a minute or so. He came back and he apologized. And still he finished the meeting in 16 minutes. And he said, can you give me my 4 minutes back? So I think that's what being present here and now can do to your style of functioning. Thank you, sir, for giving the time to say this. And having gone through all this, I decided to take charge of my life and not let the life decide what I have to do. And incidentally, I personally feel COVID was a turning point for me. It gave me time to sit and reflect that what the hell is happening, where am I going? And I did step back, I did decide to change the way I live my life, right? And disentangle it and watch it rather than be in it. That's what I realized happened in 2021 when we had lots of time. Why are we going off to work every day? How does it when I can take all decisions sitting in my recliner? That's the thought I got when I saw those 1.5 2 years of working from home. And then this brought me to this very, I'm sure all of you are familiar with this question of, can I do things which I like while I make a living? Can I also focus on these? And I did that. I exploded on the personal front. By the way, I lost my job also after that. But it's okay, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy with the second thing. But I decided I will pursue my passions. I did almost 100 visits to the forest. I like to be a photographer and wildlifer. Not only that, how could I leave the other passion of mine, which was fueled heavily during the COVID days. I had enough time and I couldn't order from outside. So that's the other thing I did. And of course, her name is Lily, the lady love of our life. I spend huge amount of time with her. I don't care what happens to my career anymore, but I like to spend time with her. And as Dr. Shah explained what happens when you are happy, this is what happens when you postpone happiness. Yeah. That's about it. That's my journey and how I try to transform it. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Rajeev, for being so frank and we'll have time for conversations with you. And so now may I invite Swamiji for your comments and remarks on this.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
So, good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. So, he was asking me to speak first, and I told him that, I'm 50, so we belong to your, what is your age? 40. What is your age?
60.
Yeah. So somehow we belong to the generation which had to study everything manually and then also software version. So we learned one thing, I don't know about other things, but cut, copy, paste. That we learned. So I said, give me the benefit of having heard 2 talks, so I can say, as Dr. Shah was saying, as Dr. Malik was saying, and then as he has not said anything, and as Gupta ji was saying, like that. So anyway, I'm just going to ensure that it is in silent mode. By the way, I'm going to ask a question. How will this mobile phone die? Die, D-I-E, not E-Y-E, which some people have that here. Huh? Battery? You can charge it, right? But the battery will conk. C-O-N-K, conk. Okay. One way of dying. Another way?
Circuitry is damaged.
When you are fed up with your view, that time. There is a view, right? No? So sad. So when you drop it down, then how else can when you give it away, or when it becomes obsolete? I'm trying to run something on this and it does not run, so it becomes obsolete. I have a museum of mobile phones in my room, so they don't work anymore as I want them to. So it dies. So how will this mobile phone die? It will not get any disease. Will it? Will it? Unless of course it's a disease called Trojan or worms or virus attack. It will die. So these are the ways it will die. If I know that there will be one day when it will die and that will be the end of it. Everyone knows that. But I know many people who spend entire days wailing over how their phone died. Have you come across anyone of them? Have you seen anyone who is like, oh, my phone gone? You haven't? I have, unfortunately. I think some of you have. So why does that happen? Everyone knows that this phone has a shelf life. We all have a DOB. You know what is DOB, right? What is DOB? Some kind of decibel from that side will help. Huh? You know what is decibel? Unit of sound, yeah. So date of birth. Do you know DOD? Date of expiry in medicines we know, but DOD, date of death, you don't know? Your name is Ganesh. Huh? Venkatraman Ganesh. Very good. You are from? Chennai where? Mandalay Street? Okay. The point is given already. Okay, so you are close to our ashram, Ramakrishna Mission. Very good. So the point is that you don't know your DOD. Will there be a DOD? Already that person is like, so please family. Poor fellow. That's called mortally afraid. You are mortally afraid. So there will be a DOD. And it is sure. But are we always factoring in that information? This mobile will count one day. There's a word for that, going kaput. K-A-P-U-T. In kaput is a, are you Spanish? German? Oh, donkey. Huh? So that has come into English, going kaput. So this will go kaput one day. Am I pronouncing it properly? Kaput? Yeah. So this will go kaput one day. But when it does, I'm crying over it. Why? That is the first problem. So all of these people have, I'm a great fan of neurology, sir. So all of these people, both of them, and over the period of this course, you have been taught many ideas of healing, well-being, happiness. But one of the core ideas is having clarity. What? Clarity, yeah? There's no sound in that. Clarity. What do you need to have? Clarity. That if there is a relationship, there will be a breakup. Or if there is a breakup, there is a possibility of further relationship. Okay, is it clarity? Some people are already smiling because of the possibility. So clarity is what we need. Conceptual clarity. How many of you have read or heard about the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah. So, Swami Vivekananda once was asked whether this Bhagavad Gita actually happened. How is it possible that in a major battle, just before the battle, two people are standing, two armies opposing each other, and a person goes on to talk about 700 verses? And Swami Vivekananda said, okay, let it be that it never happened. But it definitely arose in the brain of a person. These are definitely concepts which some person or some people have thought of. And there, if you see the first chapter, Arjuna has got what is called as the problem of underperformance. You are all going to go there, no, unfortunately. I am a monk of the Ramakrishna Mission. I have been in the Ramakrishna Mission for almost 28 years. And as part of being monk, Ramakrishna Mission was started by Swami Vivekananda. One of the goals was to create a model of organization for the rest of the country. So I have rich experience in managing hospitals, clinics, schools, doing relief rehabilitation work, taking up major construction projects, etc. And so it is from that experience. So there you basically manage all fields like operations, finance, HR, etc. that I am talking to you. A conceptual clarity on the ground is very important. What you study in the classroom is when all other things are fine. In economics, there is a Latin phrase called a ceteris paribus. When everything else is okay, then this. But unfortunately, when you are working in the real time, nothing will be okay. Particularly when you want everything to be okay, that's when nothing will work. So how do you behave there? That is when you need a reality check. What do you need? A reality check. Things like this mobile will anyway conk. There was a woman who lived from 1853 to 1920. Her name was Sarada Devi. She was the wife of Sri Ramakrishna, who was the guru of Swami Vivekananda. One day, a woman went to meet this person, and on the edge of some place on the wall was a vase, flower vase. And this, sari, you have seen saris, people wear saris. So the edge of the sari touched that flower vase and it fell and it broke. And this woman was totally annoyed and afraid and disturbed that this vase broke. So Sarada Devi said, don't worry, it will break like that. It will not get any disease. It will not go to the hospital and it will not die. This will break like this. That is the conceptual clarity you need to have. If you trust a person, don't worry, that person will betray you. Mathematical probability. If you trust somebody, that person is going to betray you. If you are going to give responsibility to some person, don't worry, be prepared that that person will flunk in a major way when you want it the most, that person succeed. This is what happens. You're all like, what kind of eerie and dejecting and pessimist kind of thought, but this is reality. And when you are prepared for reality, when you are prepared for the bad rock bottom which you can reach, and you are prepared and mentally when you are okay to deal with that, then whatever you do, you will achieve success. I frequently say we are always taught how to succeed. We are seldom taught how to fail. And if you look at the pages of history, you will find that people who have made it there on the pages of history, not on the pages of Wikipedia, on the pages of history, are people who were prepared to fail. And how do you do that? When you have a conceptual clarity. So, in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is confused to a place underperforming, and he says, I will not fight this war. And in the second chapter, when Sri Krishna starts talking, he does not tell Arjuna to fight the war. If you carefully go through that chapter, he says, who are you? Why are you behaving like this? And that's exactly you as managers should say. If someone is not performing, you need to ask them, request them to do a reality check of who they themselves are. It applies to you also, of course. When you are not performing, you need to go back and check who are you and what do you want to achieve out of the whole equation. Unfortunately, more often than not, we get confused, bewildered by details. Like I have seen many times, if you were to talk about systems design or implementation, more often than not, we get confused on which language to use, what would be the graphic user interface, GUI, etc., than focusing on how easy the operation can be made. Suppose, let us take a retail situation. There is a bookstore. And what do you need in a bookstore? That when the customers come, they will be able to easily access the books, know about the books. There will be some kind of a rough classification of books on the floor, and then they go for billing, and it is done quickly. If you just look out for this, you will be amazed at how many bookstores in the country do not do this properly. They have all the bells and whistles, but when you want to get a bill for maybe a couple of books you have selected, it takes enormous amount of time. And in retail management, that's awful. And why are they doing that? Because they have not got this conceptual clarity. You go to a restaurant, where do you go to a restaurant? Among other things to eat. Yeah. But in these restaurants which are called fine dining restaurants, anyone knows who why these are called fine dining restaurants? Nobody knows? We're not so serious.
Everything is fine.
First part to healing is becoming serious. Actually, Swami Vivekananda said if somebody has a long face, it's because of indigestion, not because of spirituality. I hope you don't have indigestion. This doctor cannot help, I think. You need to see another kind of doctor. So, why do we call them fine dining restaurants? Anyone? Yeah, they charge us a fine for dining. That's why they are called fine dining restaurants. बहुत लोगों को जोक समझ में नहीं आया, जिनको समझ में आया वो हंस नहीं रहे. So when you go to such a place, it's about everything other than dining. It's about the lighting, it's about the ambience, it's about the dark light, lack of light so that you don't know what has fallen on the food, etc. So it's all about everything other than dining. Why? Basically it's about food, right? So if you want to add bells and whistles, add it on top of the basic experience of food. That's a lack of conceptual clarity. So first thing you need to understand, to be having a rooted life, a life which is full of experience. Now unfortunately in 2025 we are living in a space where we don't experience. We consume. There's a difference. We consume. A lot of things we are buying, but we are not experiencing. We are anxious. We want to prove to our better half or better half, whatever the case may be, that I can do this, I will take you to this place, that place, etc. But are you experiencing? And what did I say? Everyone has a DO. So much afraid that you don't want even to say that. DOD, date of death. So you have only limited time. We don't know how much. Why don't you experience? Why don't you experience? Where he was talking about Goenkaji, that he was there in the moment. Experience. Many people go to the restaurant and I constantly find fine dining restaurant. Means they are giving a fine for. But everyone is hooked out to the phone. Why? You could have ordered it from Swiggy or Zomato in the home itself. Why did you take the trouble to come here and all hooked on the phone? Why? Why can't you experience? Watching a movie. Movie is going on, here something else is going on. Why? Why can't you have the experience? So that is what makes it different. Whatever you do, if you experience it completely, I assure you that even 1 year of your existence will be richer. In USA, America, there was a philosopher, his name was Robert Ingersoll. Ingersoll. He was what we call an agnostic. You know what is agnostic?
Somebody who doesn't believe in anything.
Wrong answer.
Someone who believes that we cannot prove the existence of God.
Wrong answer.
They may exist or not.
Wrong answer. Exactly. Who is silent on whether God exists or not. Somehow this person from Mangavalli has the correct answer. We don't know why. So he is silent, she or he is silent on the existence or non-existence of God. So they are different from atheists. They are agnostic. This Robert Ingersoll was an agnostic. Nonetheless, he was always not wanting to miss a chance to make fun of Swami Vivekananda, who happened to befriend him when he was in the United States. So somewhere during that time, 1895, 96 like that, 94, sorry, 94, 95, Swami Vivekananda used to regularly go to meet Robert Ingersoll and they used to discuss various aspects of philosophy. Once when he went to his home, he was drinking orange juice. Probably those days people were more fans of fresh fruit juices. Any fan of fresh fruit juice? Really? So many people. Okay. So he was drinking orange juice. The moment Swami Vivekananda, a monk, walked in, he said, "See, I am having orange juice. You cannot have because you don't have any income. So whatever people give you, you eat. You can't buy it because you don't have. And so you can never enjoy this orange juice." Swami Vivekananda immediately came with a retort. He said, "No, I can enjoy orange juice. I can enjoy it better. Why? Because I am not anxious. Whenever I get it, I will enjoy it, and I can enjoy it till the last drop. You, on the other hand, will think whether I will get orange juice the next day, and it is going to end. So, experiencing is different. If you think that you are experiencing, and that this experience is going to end, you will not be able to experience. It's a Bhumadiya. If you always think of you as a person who is experiencing something, you will not be experiencing. Any dancers in the room? Nobody. So you want others to dance to your tunes, but you don't know how to dance? Manager ये करते हैं dancing, making people dance to your tunes. I have never seen one person who is happy with the manager. Everybody says my manager is bad, etc. Don't become that person. Nobody knows to dance. Seriously. So if you study dances, even hip hop forms, they will say that the acme, the height of dance is when they were able to forget themselves. Jodha Akbar, you have seen? Huh? What is the song? A.R. Rahman fan. You are A.R. Rahman fan? I understood. So, Khwaja Mere Khwaja. That dance which you see there, it's a form of Sufi dance. But in Kathak, Bharatanatyam, all classical dances, other dances also, I know there is enough neuroscientific research on this, that they want to lose their being in dancing. And they find a lot of happiness. Every experience is like that. When you shed your identity, what is identity? Identity is a reason for differentiating one from the other. So I want to say that he is different from me, and so I create a pigeonhole. That's what we are all doing. We are trying to pigeonhole people. I want to see that. What's your name?
Shubhangi.
You are from? Ranchi.
Yeah.
Where in Ranchi?
Uh,
In the city or outside?
No, in the city, Harmony.
Oh, so we have a center in Ranchi, do you know? Morabadi.
Oh, no.
Oh no. So Ranchi, so see already Shubhangi from Ranchi, I already put a mind, already put some category in the periodic table of human beings. I have already placed her in some element. Whether she is in her element or not, I don't know. And I'm seeing jokes are bombing off. But the point is, we want to categorize people. We want to differentiate ourselves from others. And so, going back to ancient wisdom, kuch to bolna padega because Professor Gupta has told me to. There is an Upanishad called Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Brihad means big, Aranyaka means that which was found in the forest. So, a big text which was thought of in the forest. There is a mantra. Dvitiyat vai bhayam bhavati. Bhaya, fear, comes because of positing the other. Any psychology people, anybody interested in psychology, you're all managers I know. But anybody interested in psychology remotely even? No one? Huh? You don't study? Okay. You're all going to deal with human beings and not interested in psychology. So there are many people, but there is this person called Emmanuel Levinas. He was a post-structuralist, postmodernist. He was also a psychoanalyst. And he used to say, he used to talk about the othering people. You know, like you other somebody who is not from a majoritarian ethnicity. You other somebody who is from a not so well-known country. You other different gender identities. So that othering, differentiating, that causes problem. And that leads to bhaya, fear. But not just fear. The entire array of human emotions is born when you start to distance yourself from someone. And that is what is another problem. The first problem is not having conceptual clarity, not knowing that I have a DOD along with DOB. And the second problem is not trying to converge with others. Trying to diverge with others is the second problem. Most problems which you will face in real life will be because of these. And then today 2025, okay, खत्म. 5 minutes. Wow. So much Friday. 2025. Today, I was telling him, we were talking a while ago, before lunch, and today, in our society, human beings as a whole, we have achieved most things. Basic needs we have achieved. But still everyone is running to achieve different kinds of things which are not probably basic needs. So you need to identify that rock bottom which I was talking about earlier and be satisfied with it. Whatever you build upon that is an achievement which may not stand, which may not be always there. Today in management, that skill which we look for in a manager. If I were to, I constantly keep on recruiting people. If I were to look for a trait, one trait that I need in a manager, that trait would be, sir? If I were to look for one trait in a manager, that trait would be a singular trait that is important today in this disruptive age of technologies, blah, 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 blah. Resilience. That trait would be, of course, empathy is a very important trait, but resilience. The capacity to, the mythological phoenix, the capacity to bounce back. And that is what is required. And so, already the alarm has gone. What is that one trait? To put it in a more easily understandable language, thick skin. That's what will take you places. Thick skin. Swami Vivekananda tells a story that there was a buffalo. Where do buffaloes lie? In water, pond. So a mosquito, very polite like all of you, went there and asked, Mr. Buffalo, shall I sit on your back? And the buffalo said, you, only you, bring all your 14 generations and sit on my back, I don't really care. So that thick skin, all people here whoever have worked in industry, in medicine, in education, all will agree with me when I say it requires really thick skin, like the skin of 10 rhinoceros put together. If you have not seen a rhinoceros, you can go to Kaziranga and see. 10 rhinoceros put together, thick skin, emotionally speaking, that is what is needed in real world. And that thick skin, that kind of empathy, at the same time, an empathy towards what is happening outside you. Not because you don't know or don't care, but because you are impervious to that. And you really know that you are someone who is greater than all this. He was talking about one's body, etc., consciousness mixing with the universal consciousness. There is something very serious space in neuroscience, that is non-locality of the identity of oneself. We don't know, there's no space in brain which is dedicated to where I am. So nature is trying to tell us something, that you are greater than what you appear in the mirror. So take that as a big lesson and please develop thick skins, because ultimately you are the people who will be made leaders, means you are the people who will be made responsible for whatever goes wrong. And you will in turn make people responsible for whatever goes wrong. So thick skin is something you need, and again, conceptual clarity on what really matters and what really does matter. So then all these arguments of work-life balance, I always feel that it is about prioritization. What is priority at that moment for you, that is what counts. And so thank you for giving me a patient hearing. Thank you.
So we have some time pending. We take some questions. If Dr. Shah, if you are open to some questions, yeah, okay. So anybody has any? So based on the three gentlemen who spoke on the idea, any questions anybody has? Anything that's troubling you? We have three different lenses. We can. So Dr. Shah, Swami Rajeev? Huh? This is also okay. This is also okay. This is also okay. Yes.
So, the rate of birth that
You
is.
can also tell who you are, because you are not a student of the E course. 1 PGP 1 2, and also the question to whom this is directed.
So my name is Atul Kumar, and I'm PhD first year in public systems area. And my question, I mean, I'll ask whosoever wants from the panel.
Okay.
And the thing is that rate of birth is double the rate of death. So DOB is double that of DOD. So once a person falls down, there are 2 more persons to take his place. So in such is the competitive environment, and also it's a kind of cultural thing also, because in European countries you can call like certain work conditions rule are followed. So this type of statement, that 70 hours of work, this type of like the kind of approach that should have been happened hasn't happened. So I think this is also a kind of a cultural thing that surrounds this. So I think in such a situation, practicing mindfulness, because in that situation, even spirituality becomes your product. So you are now down because of the work. Now you go to a spiritual center and get your mind healed. And you go like you are feeling down, you go to a doctor, you get yourself healed, and then again go to the rat race. So this is a very perpetual cycle, and I don't think there is a way for us to get out of this, because we know that there are 2 more people.
Okay. So the question is that we are in a perpetual cycle and nothing seems to work. Is that a fair way to put here? We are in a perpetual cycle, and how to look at it? The competition stress.
That reflects the young mind, how they work. I'm really surprised.
These are as young as you can get.
Yeah. So I'm very surprised and I'm slightly unhappy that is the way thinking goes around. When I look back at my career itself, I was also doing same type of work. Till 1995, I don't remember a single day when I would have come back home before 12 midnight. I was considered one of the most successful, fastest growing neurologist of Gujarat. But I don't want to go into details of what happened, but it reflected on my behavior, the stress, attacked me in a way. So one day my little girl said to, "Oh, why are you getting angry on small things? What is our fault?" This small sentence, when I was only 36, it literally shook me. So I stopped that day working and went to my spiritual guru, and he taught me meditation. He asked me to rejoin my music classes, and he gave me certain lessons to read on spiritual text. That was one of my major changes in my life. But I want to say that although I was one of the busiest guy, it took a shift in my thinking, and I reshaped my whole life. So for you people, I would say that if you have 24 hours of the day, you can have 7 hours of sleep, which is physiological. 8 hours maybe you are study or work or whatever it is, 7 to 8 hours, including computing. I think that would be sufficient for you. Remaining 9 hours or so, you can divide into 3 parts. These are hypothetical things, but you can make necessary amendments. 3HFS. 3H is health, hygiene and hobbies. So 3H, 1 hour health, do some workout, exercise, yoga, whatever. 1 hour for hobbies and 1 hour for hygiene, do daily chores. F is family, friends, okay, so some kind of things which you have to do as social justice to yourself. And as is your service to humanity, your service to nation, as is self, so meditation and some spiritual work, etc. So now this may look simple, but it is not, I know that. So Saturday, Sunday, whatever is remaining, you can shift. Every day, shifting your virtual hours, maybe how many hours a day you spend in your mobile, with internet and WhatsApp and other medium. I don't want to ask you, but I'm just saying, from that, shift that to your health and meditation, it is possible. We have different priorities. We are wrongly wired. And we think we don't have time, we have enough time. I have done that myself because I learned through a hard way lesson. My little child told me, oh, wonderfully, that totally changed me. I don't think I'm the same person which I was going to track on a different track now. And there are so many other things also happened. I don't say the email that I wrote to my mentors. So keep on reflecting, read good books, do some hobbies, and do meditation, spiritual. Everything is possible. Okay?
I just want to add to what Dr. said. See, this date of birth to date of death, this period is yours. After I die, 2 more places, the people will come and take my place. That was what you were saying. It's a quite competitive thing. So there are people waiting probably for me to quit the seat. That is the kind of idea you gave. But you see, this experience is mine. No matter how many people are behind me to take that place, this experience, what I am experiencing, whatever, like this experience, cannot be snatched from me. Now, unfortunately, we don't prioritize that experience. So, what I am asking you is to prioritize that experience in his own way. What Dr. Shah is also saying is prioritize that experience. So, whether for you the kind of systematic classification of time works for you, that is something you have to find out yourself. But the point is, most psychologists and most neurologists say that the problem of psychological ailments, most of them stem because of comparison. You, if I were to say, suppose you are the only person in this world, what will make you happy? Probably that you already have. But when you compare yourself with others, that is when the problem comes. So that is the villain. And second thing is this experience, try to have that experience and not bother about who else is not having or who else is having. That was the point. And because only when you are rooted in oneself, like there are so many autistic patients, they cannot even do proper functions. But then with little training, many of the autists have some area of expertise. Like it can be painting, it can be mathematical skills. If those people are trained in that, they find a different identity. So that is what, that's a different perspective we need to think about.
Okay, any other? Yes. Yes.
I'm Akshay. I'm a first year PhD student in marketing. My question is to you, sir, doctor. You talked about the state of blissfulness and also one of the enemies being attachment. A lot of students here, they are very emotional about the things that they can get involved in. It could be career, families. How at the same time do you expect us to be detached also to the things that we really love to get to this higher state of blissfulness?
You can at least start experiencing this. I don't want you to be in this state of bliss altogether right away. But the red dress that is running in your mind, It is running outside, but more than that is running in your mind. That will certainly shut off. And at the same time, you will be peaceful. You know one thing, your productivity, your success, the so-called worldly success, would be doubled if you become slow, peaceful, and mentally quite peaceful. The reason is the brain functions in a different way. We think that if we work hard and if we do this and that, if we chase success, success will be ours. It is not. If you are happy, peaceful, the success will be yours. Success does not bring happiness. It is happiness that surely brings success. This simple line will be remembered. And I don't want to do big things right away at this stage. You continue with your passion and career, no doubt. I want you to practice small, simple things which I those five virtues or those good maintenance of relationship and prayer. It doesn't take much time. Meditation, 15-20 minutes will be sufficient if you can spend. And I want you to take time from virtual media to your personal self. That is what all I'm telling. It will transform you and you will certainly do much better because the brain that will be wired in a different way will be more creative. And I tell this from my experience. Ever since 1995, I learned meditation, I rejoined music, I read the spiritual texts, I restudied Sanskrit, and I remained in touch with yogis. I got a real state of peace and my productivity increased to several fold. So my experience also tells me the same. I have learned this enough from all these accomplished people, and that's how I'm doing it.
Just one thing for everybody, actually, something which is very PGP specific also. Probably you were alluding to the amount of time spent on social media. I'm glad you didn't ask how much time you spent sleeping. Because in the PGP world, can get disappointed. There are also people we know of in the broader culture who sleep for 4 hours, work for 18 hours and have been doing it for years. So for the benefit of everybody, I think from all perspectives, how much sleep does it actually need and does calmness of the mind alter the amount of sleep that we need? Or how can we fuel ourselves with 4 hours of sleep is the magic mantra that we
They start with consciousness.
Yes, from all perspectives.
Yes, I have tried my best to give myself at least 6 hours, and in a rebellious manner, as I said, avoided the morning flights, avoided troubling myself as much as I could, whatever be the consequences. I would say if you, even to the earlier questions, if you decide your own pace and are ready to bear the consequences. People might call you, the guy is in comfort zone, the guy is not competitive enough. It doesn't matter. That's your view about that. I think just to take this example, even my daughter spoke to me. There were times when I was in Oman and she would come to me on a Friday and say, can we do something today? And I would say, yeah, but I'm going to work. And then I would see her calling a friend saying, Gupta, let's go somewhere. So for 12 years I was her first choice. And I ignored it. And now I'm not a choice at all. Very clearly. So the point I'm making is if we choose our own pace, 6 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours doesn't matter. In retrospect, I would say, please decide for yourself what really works and please be ready to bear the consequences. The problem is, as I said, when you start comparing yourself, you get anxious and you want to put more time and you lose out on the balance. I think when I started doing my favorite things, I didn't lose out on anything. This phase of my life when I am a consultant and advisor and doing all my favorite things, I don't feel any loss at all. I think I quit late. That's my only regret.
From neuro perspective, a normal person of your age would require 7 hours sleep for rewiring calming, memory binding, and immunity purpose. 7 hours would be the right answer from the neurology perspective. Let me take this opportunity before you wind up to thank you enough for having led this wonderful conversation and the heal program that you are doing. I think I'm really impressed that somebody is looking at the physiology, the psychology, and the well-being of the students. I hardly come across such programs. So a big hand to
So as Dr. Shah said, we need 7 to 8 hours of sleep for our body to completely rest. Even people who do bodybuilding, for the muscles to develop, you need sleep. And one of the first questions a psychological professional will ask a patient who goes to that person is, how many hours do you sleep? That is the first question, because the first victim is sleep. Sleep is the first casualty. Coming to Indian philosophy, sleep has got 3 stages. Actually 2 stages. You can say 3 stages. One is when you sleep and then you have dreams. So then that is called the REM phase of sleep or rapid eye movement phase of sleep. Then there is another phase which is divided further into 2 parts. It's called the non-rapid eye movement. It is called like that because if you examine or observe a person who is sleeping with closed eyes, some people can sleep with open eyes, but people who sleep with closed eyes, you will see that their eyes are moving. And so when it is not moving, it has got 2 phases. One is the non-REM phase, where there is no thing, and then there is something called deep sleep, which in Sanskrita is called Sushupti. And that is the phase when you come close to your reality according to Advaita Vedanta. You are Atman Brahman, you are not this body, embodied body, etc. So this is the phase when you come close to that and you experience only bliss in that phase. So you go closer to your nature and you feel a state of happiness only in sleep. That's important both physiologically and philosophically. And you can see this if you are having a quarrel, etc. Don't do anything, just have some curd rice. So some people from the southern part of a country like curd rice, and it has got a tranquilizing effect. So you have such kind of a food and go to sleep, and then when you get up, the world seems to be a better place. So sleep is very important. And anybody who tells you that you can do away with that, all these problems of cardiological, diabetes, and having a big paunch, best way to reduce weight is drink more water and sleep well. Nobody is telling you that. Unfortunately, we are seeing a generation of women in India who suffer from what is called PCOD. That comes because we are bent upon proving our loyalty to the Westerners, and we are working when it is day for them. So we are not owls. Some years ago, there was this Nobel Prize awarded in physiology for work in circadian rhythms. Earlier, people used to think of it as a pseudoscience. It is not. We are not owls. We are all not nocturnal. We are diurnal. So we need to work according to the science. So it's very important in all aspects that sleep is very important. If you have a good sleep, believe me, your anxiety will be less, you will be able to handle more pressures. So sleep it off, as they say. Thank you.
So, yeah, I think considering time, and I know Dr. Shah is looking at his watch, he has been very kind to stay. So, on behalf of the HEAL class, and also there are some students from outside, I think it has been a
good conversation just to kind of put in perspective some of the things that we've been talking about these days, looking at ourselves, some meditation, managing other thoughts, thinking, bringing clarity and experiencing the moment. There is an effort in the course to talk about neuroscience, but who better than a neuroscientist to tell us that there are definite brain changes when we actually get into some kind of meditative state. Who better than a actual person who's lived and rose through the ranks that you can imagine in corporate world, which is working very closely with the top, the Anand Mahindras of the world, working close with the Pavan Goenkas of the world, seeing the world, live the world, and coming back to tell what to watch out for when you go out of those. And who better than somebody who has studied Indian philosophy as a discipline, for Indian spirituality as a discipline for the last 20 years, living it all the time today in the work and the service that we are doing. So on behalf of Shishir and myself, thank you very much. Just a small appreciation, Shishir. Dr. Swamiji, and we can call Venkat also.
தமிழ் தானே நீங்க For those who did not understand, I asked him whether his mother tongue is Tamil.
Thank you.